States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Miss Jackie, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor Velardo?
Here.
Vice Mayor Evans?
Here.
Ms. Russell?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Redmond?
Present.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Here.
Mr. Haskins?
Here.
Thank you. I'm very excited about tonight's agenda. We're going to start our evening with a presentation from the city manager, a State of the City presentation. For all of you people out there watching on Facebook Live and ICRC, drop us a note. Let us know that you're watching us today. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to scroll back through and address those questions later on in the agenda. But thanks for joining us this evening. Michael Doss, I know you've worked really hard on this presentation, and you're so excited to tell us all the wonderful things that are happening within the city of Milford.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first I want to thank the mayor and city council for giving me the privilege to serve as your city manager for the last almost 5 years now. It's just reflecting on the state of the city. This is actually my 5th state of the city for Milford, and it's been quite a journey. I wasn't sure when I was getting ready to do this presentation, we're just finishing 2020, if I should zoom this in as a presentation, just to kind of stay with the times. It was a joke. But
I thought you meant you were going to
decided-
zoom it to the audience. You meant zoom it to
yeah,
us.
zoom it to you all. That's my only joke tonight, right?
I hope they can only get better, right?
It's a good report tonight. I wanted to reflect on 2020. It's been a very challenging year for everyone. I want to let everyone know in the Milford community that our thoughts and our prayers are with those individuals that have been afflicted with COVID-19, maybe lost a loved one, or maybe experiencing unemployment as a result of this horrible affliction in this pandemic. But we are Milford strong, and we will get through this. I want to, again, reflect on 2020, because, again, it's been a very interesting year for us. It's brought us words like social distancing, teleworking is now the norm, Zoom deals for multi-million-dollar projects are cut without ever even shaking someone's hand. But it has been interesting. But I wanted to go through our State of the City tonight, talk to you a little bit about the things that are going on in 2020 and the exciting things that we have going on in 2021. First, I'd be remiss if I didn't start out with the finances and give you just a little bit of a financial picture of where we ended the year 2020. Our 2020 annual revenues were $14,314,165. Our 2020 annual expenditures were $13,413,265, which is actually a positive difference, revenues over expenditures. Overall, our annual 2020 of $900,900. In our general fund alone, the trend continued. Our general fund reserve ended the year with $6,425,695 in revenue. And our general fund expenditures were $5,584,766, which is a positive difference, revenues of expenditures of about $840,929. I am pleased to report our city earnings tax collection this year was $4,356,043. Our tax revenue actually increased 4.7% in 2020. This is completing a 6-year trend, which realized an average increase of about 2.8%. And you can see where we were in 2015 at just a little over 3.5 million, and where we're at about 5-6 years later in our trend. Things are looking very well with the city, and we'll talk about some of those things this evening, some of the development that's been going on. I'm sure you've seen that out in our community and some of the exciting things that we have to come. Our city continues to maintain a general cash fund reserve of 58% of our current budget. I'm pleased to report that the city's Standard & Poor bond rating is still a double A. Our city expended $1.37 million in public funds for infrastructure projects. And of that, we secured outside public funds in the amount of $526,834, or 38% of all of those projects that we did in 2020. The city also received $548,427 in CARES Act funds. Those were very important to us in getting some of the things that we needed to have equipped as far as personal protection equipment. We gave a lot of money to the Milford Community Fire Department. They were successful in buying a lot and upgrading a lot of their equipment. Our outdoor dining area was one of the purchases that we made through this. So we really were very cautious, very stewards of taxpayers' dollars and the money that we received from the CARES Act, making sure that we were in compliance with both federal and state guidelines. I do want to commend Ms. Pat Worthland and the Finance Department for the hard work and the challenge that they had in 2020 in keeping us all grounded, essentially, as we work through this pandemic. They did an excellent job in making sure that we were financially stable, and I think these numbers reflect that. Quality of life. Milford's projected unemployment rate right now is about 3.8%. This is compared to about 5.6% in the Cincinnati metropolitan statistical area. This covers all of Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. Milford's median home value is 12% higher than the average home values in the Cincinnati metropolitan statistical area. Still, even with the pandemic, even with everything going on in 2020, the average home resale in Milford is estimated at about 3 weeks on the real estate market. New residential subdivisions are planned for the Milford South property, with home values estimated to be anywhere between $350,000 and $500,000. This is significant because this will be Milford's first subdivision since 1990. There it is. Everybody knows what that is. I could not get through a presentation without talking about COVID-19 and the impact it's had on the city and the city's response. I think it's very important because it was such a significant piece of our functions and of our city that we just talk a little bit about Milford's response in the infancy of the pandemic all the way up until where we are today. Declarations. On March the 9th of 2020, the state of Ohio made an emergency declaration in regards to COVID-19. Shortly thereafter, on March 17th of 2020, the city of Milford implemented restricted operations. I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again because this is a continuous goal of our city as we wind our way through this pandemic. Our goal, my goal, our staff's goal, was to keep our city employees safe and healthy while maintaining the continuity in public services in an assured and effective and efficient manner. All of our operations, we took precautions. The CARES Act money I mentioned, everything that we did was not only to keep our citizens safe and the folks that we do business with, but also keep our employees safe and keep them healthy. All city lobbies were closed immediately as of March 17th to the public. Our utility and tax collections were made only via online, by phone, or by Dropbox. The Public Works Department was split into 2 working rotating shifts. We did that, we felt that was necessary because we maintain a water and sewer system. If we were to have a whole department go down, we would have to make provisions with the Ohio EPA and other agencies to operate our water and our sewer facilities. We also, with the credit again of Ms. Worthland and her staff, placed all departments on a purchase order freeze, and we only allowed and authorized emergency purchases only. On March 18th, City Council issued a state of emergency declaration. We were a little bit ahead of the state of Ohio as we were shutting down operations because just a few days later on March 22nd of 2020, the state of Ohio issued a stay-at-home order. With all of this, we were able to still get public information out. Our social media and our city website became instrumental for not just things going on in Milford and with city operations, but for other things as well. We were very pivotal in getting out small business assistant information, including the payroll protection program and small business association loans. which were very important to keeping some of our small businesses. And some of our small businesses in Milford utilized them to essentially stay alive during the early stage of this pandemic. We provided COVID-19 statistical information, any information from the state of Ohio, the Governor's Office, Department of Health, or the Claremont County Board of Health was reflected in our social media and on our website. Even Ohio election information, especially our primaries. And we worked with Claremont County Board of Elections in getting out information to all of our registered voters in the city so they have an opportunity to participate in the primary election. Public safety and health information, we worked with Hamilton and Claremont County EMA to get all of the information as far as positive tests, deaths, and any other pertinent information from both Claremont County and Hamilton County's EMA. Through all of this, on April the 8th of 2020, we received significant storm damage in the way of wind within the city of Milford. Mayor Velardo, Chief Mills, Chief Baird, and myself held 3 Facebook Live informational sessions related to COVID-19 and city operations and services. I'm pleased to report that in 2020, the City of Milford's Facebook page realized a 13.2% increase in followers and traffic. Some of it was getting this information. Daily operations, the show must go on. Our Public Works Department, city construction projects continued as planned. Alita Construction completed the US 50 concrete and catch basin project, which ultimately led to the state of Ohio and their contractor performing our urban paving program and paving the rest of US 50 Main Street and Lila Avenue. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. Bearcat Construction was able to finalize the new Riverside Park shelter. Our Public Works Department maintained a regular brush collection schedule. They were still repairing potholes on schedule, and they maintained general regular maintenance on schedule, which included mowing, landscaping, vehicle maintenance, water and wastewater testing. Again, even with the split shifts, we were able to continue the services that our citizens know and expect from us. On April 8th, as I mentioned, the 2020 storm response, even though we had split shifts, they worked in collaboration together, and social distancing guidelines and teams were followed at all times. Interesting study in that, even though we had split shifts, so we had one shift working one week, one off the next, they all came in for the storm, but they organically stayed separate, almost like just natural teams. So that is a real testament to Mr. Ed Hackmeister and his crew in the service department. Daily operations, administrative and finance department, internal office operations. Our planning and zoning items were performed online, email, and via phone. Building permits were coordinated with NIC, who does our inspections, and our contracted city engineer. Even through all of this, Ms. Pam Holbrook was extremely busy with all of her planning and zoning meetings and issuing building permits as we worked our way through 2020 in this pandemic. Utility and tax payments were made telephonically, online, or at a Dropbox option in the City Hall hallway. Utility shutoffs were temporarily suspended. Our city income tax filing was postponed until July 15th of 2020. Our City Hall personnel, we authorized split work shifts for the Assistant City Manager, the Clerk of Council, and our Code Enforcement Officer. And Ms. Worthland and her staff incorporated teleworking for the Finance Department personnel. Again, we were keeping up with the continuity of keeping our employees safe and keeping our employees healthy, which was our goal all along. From an economic development standpoint, through all of this, Pam Holbrook and I spent several times early on in the pandemic discussing the impact, because we were on such a high, essentially, with all the development going on in Milford. We wondered how this would squelch our economic development and the progress that we were making. I am pleased to report in 2020, new construction values for residential and commercial properties was $9,417,946. The city issued building permit fees and collected building permit fees of $82,916. Several businesses, existing businesses, made construction property improvements totaling $67,671. Sometimes show you all this chart just as a reminder of where we stand from an industry and from a business standpoint. This chart, I'm not sure how well you can see it. Most common industries that we have in Milford as of today. We are still very strong in our light industrial manufacturing, our food service, and our professional and technical services. Those make up the largest component of our industries that we have in the city of Milford, followed by our healthcare, our retail, and then administrative support services and wholesale trade. Much like your portfolio at home with your 401k, they tell you to diversify. I show you this chart. I'll continue to show this chart as we update it to show you just really how diverse Milford is. And I think this is one of the keys to our success and how we were able to navigate through 2020 in this pandemic, because we had stable businesses and we had stable industry. I want to go through a little bit of some of the development that went on in 2020 and a little bit in 2019, and some of that is still under construction today in 2021. If you've been out to Chamber Drive, you've seen a lot of activity over the last year and a half. We are pleased to report Tru Hotel, which is a Hilton brand, is under construction. It is expected to be completed by March of this year. This hotel is a $9 million investment and will provide 95 rooms and an indoor pool area for visitors. This marks the second Hilton brand hotel in Milford, the other being Homewood Suites. The development of the Tru Hotel is a direct result and response of the FC Cincinnati Mercy Health Training Facility and Soccer Academy. Another development on Chamber Drive is the Christian Family Credit Union. This will provide financial service options and will be open in the spring of 2021. Christian Family Credit Union is a new credit union in the greater Cincinnati area, and they have selected Milford as their first financial institutional venture. This 5,300 square foot building is a $1.75 million investment and will provide an alternative to traditional banking. This will be the main office of the credit union for the greater Cincinnati area, as they expect to expand operations in the greater Cincinnati area over the next 3 to 5 years. This is going to be their main office. Chamber Drive development. Milford is also experiencing some investment in fast food and full service stations on Chamber Drive and the Milford Parkway. As you know, a 3-unit strip mall was constructed in 2019 and is home to Starbucks and Rapid Fire Pizza. Taco Bell recently opened a new $1 million standalone restaurant next to that strip mall. United Dairy Farmers, or UDF, completed a significant renovation on incorporating a new concept design for its future UDFs moving forward. UDF proudly selected Milford as their first redesigned concept in the greater Cincinnati area. All of these aforementioned restaurants and service businesses account for a total investment of $3.75 million. U-Haul development. U-Haul is expanding their operations out on Chamber Drive, and they are relocating their downtown Old Milford office to a larger facility. This $3.5 million investment is a multi-level state-of-the-art facility that will house approximately 300 units and provide for truck and van rentals and packaging services for logistical needs. Not only are we experiencing economic development and growth out on the Milford Parkway and Chamber Drive, but we are also experiencing that growth and development in downtown Milford. Along with the Chamber Drive development in Old Milford, the March 1st Brewery and Cincinnati Distillery is constructing a facility where the old Millcroft was to market and sell their new brand of whiskey. The distillery is a $3 million investment and again resides at the old historic Millcroft Inn building. The investor is incorporating the old Millcroft Inn building with a modern structure, and you can see that there for this distillery area. Once completed in mid-2021, I know a lot of folks have been asking about that, the distillery will have a taste room, meeting and banquet areas, an outdoor patio, mezzanine, as well as a restaurant from over the Rhine in downtown Cincinnati. This is the Little Miami Event Center. Building on the success of the Little Miami Brewing Company, investors at the Little Miami Brewing Company are constructing the Little Miami Event Center located on the back end of what is becoming the Little Miami Brewing Company campus. The Little Miami Event Center is nestled on the banks of the Little Miami River, providing a spectacular view of the river and the Milford Trailhead. The event center will accommodate 300 guests and function as the area's premier banquet facility. You'll have a conference center, wedding venue, and is expected to be completed and accepting reservations by the summer of 2021. The total investment for the Little Miami Brewing Company, their second expansion, which is their patio and roof, and the event center, is approximately $7 million in downtown Milford. COHatch, which is a new company, has acquired property at 220 Mill Street and is investing approximately $1.2 million in renovations to the existing building. COHatch represents the future of office meeting space by integrating spaces where individuals, startups, small businesses, large corporations, and nonprofits can operate in satellite offices throughout the greater Cincinnati and Columbus region. COHatch, we are one of 4 communities in the Cincinnati area that is having a COHatch in its town. The others are the city of Mason, Hyde Park, and Kenwood. COHatch is a company out of Columbus, Ohio. They have offices in Dublin and Westerville, and they are bringing their office space here. This is really unique for Milford because we believe that this is the future of office space. A lot of office space is probably going to go vacant, but this is a hybrid of that, which really gives a person who's a member of COHatch the opportunity to float and enjoy different amenities while conducting business. Again, just to recap, in economic development, we have experienced private commercial and light industrial development investments for the year 2020 and 2021 in the amount of $21,950,000, just shy of $22 million. And you can see those investments there that I outlined with Tru Hotel all the way down to COHatch. In total, before I get into this, Milford has realized $70 million in private commercial and light industrial development since 2018, with almost $22 million or 30% of that occurring in 2020, 2021. This projection reflects a combination of approximately 300 to 350 full-time and part-time employees in the city of Milford that have been created over a 3.5-year period. The city's overall economic development objective is to reach over $100 million in investments over the next 3 to 5 years, and we will do that. In 2021, the city anticipates an additional $2 million expansion in investment from Cincinnati Gear. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, the first phase of the residential development is scheduled to occur in the former Milford South Elementary property in 2021. And finally, in 2022, Staybridge Suites, an IHG brand, will open to the public. This $13 million investment will mark the second IHG brand hotel in Milford, with the other being Holiday Inn Express and Suites. I bring this up because, again, there's been a lot of attention paid to the city of Milford, a lot of attention paid to the Parkway with some of our larger businesses. This is a study done by the Ohio Department of Transportation. They do an annual average daily traffic data count, And I just want to show this to you. Some of you have seen this before with some updated numbers. The Milford Parkway's average daily traffic increased a total of 8% between 2014 and 2020. And you can look at some of these locations. Of course, exit 59 is the Milford Parkway. The average daily traffic on the parkway is 22,268. You can see how comparable that is to the exit 52 exit, which is the Loveland Madeira Road exit in Loveland at 20,499. Exit 50, which is US 22 West Montgomery Road in Montgomery, 21,289. Exit 47, which is Reed Hartman Highway in Blue Ash at 23,745. And exit 46, which is US 42 North Lebanon Road in Sharonville at 24,074. We are right there. There's a lot of traffic. And this is a very excellent tool that we use when we're trying to attract development to the city of Milford and showing the traffic that goes through there and the potential. Infrastructure. We didn't have a lot of infrastructure in 2020, but what we did do was very significant. As you all are aware, our US 50 Main Street and Lila Avenue ODOT urban paving project was completed. That project was $955,550. We also did work on US 50 Main Street and Lila Avenue, installing some curbs, replacing curbs, installing catch basins. That project was $296,588. This is the second phase of what I've called the downtown Milford corridor, with the first phase being completed a couple years ago on State Route 28. These cover two of our three main arterial roads within the city of Milford, meaning these are our most heavily trafficked areas. Of course, the other one, as I mentioned, being the Milford Parkway. These projects will allow the city of Milford to flourish on those main arterials over the next 10 to 15 years with minimal repairs to those roads. But that was a very significant chunk of our budget. The other one was our Riverside Park Shelter project. That was $121,185. That brought a new large shelter to the city of Milford, which we are currently renting out. A very nice facility that will host many events in years to come. Our total major projects, just the major projects that I mentioned, the total cost for all of those projects in 2020 was $1,373,323. Again, as I mentioned, our downtown Milford corridor, which was completed in 2018, and then phase 2, which was US 50, the Milford entrance to State Route 131. It was completed this year. And you can see the breakdown, this was provided by Pat Worthland, of what funds were made available in the fund breakdown. A big chunk of that project came through ODOT, Storm, and our street funds to help support that project. But in the end, we've got a great street. Again, and the longevity of that street will last us for many years to come. And we were able to, once again, tackle a main arterial in the city. Just some pictures of the project. You can see asphalt being laid. We did striping as well, much needed to our downtown area. We enhanced our crosswalks. We put crosswalk signs in the middle of our crosswalks, which I think have worked out very well. But just an idea of the project and the intensity. We worked and coordinated that. Ed Hackmeister and his crew, once again, did an excellent job in coordinating this. It was an inconvenience for a lot of folks. We tried to do it at nighttime, especially because we were working in the downtown area, as not to complicate or bring too much stress to our businesses. They were able to get in and out of there, I think, within, given the scope of the project, a pretty good amount of time that they saved. They were actually a little bit ahead of schedule. Riverside Park Shelter, again, a very significant size shelter that will be able to host events, Frontier Days, a lot of other gatherings. It's been used quite a bit as we go through 2020 and we enter 2021, as a lot of individuals are getting outside a lot more, again, in a lot of ways in part because of the pandemic. As we segue into 2021, I wanted to list some goals and objectives that I have within the city that I feel will advance the city and move us forward. I want to establish a LEED certified program for new residential housing. LEED is the future, making homes green, much more energy efficient is the way to go, especially under the new presidential administration. It seems like they're tackling a lot of green initiatives. The city of Cincinnati, city, I believe, of Silverton also has this as well. So we're looking to implement this LEED certified program, which, quite frankly, I believe is the future of our city and sustainability of our city. I want to develop and implement a pavement management study and program. I want to take an overview of all of our roads and streets within the city, study them, analyze them, and put them on a priority list. So that gives our Public Works Department, and that gives us, from a financial perspective, the ability to plan accordingly by having that pavement plan in place. That evaluation will score everything. Other communities are doing this, and it's been very instrumental. Hopefully, my expectation is we can get a pavement management plan and study performed, and we can start actually doing some paving projects, hopefully this fall, based off of that pavement management study. The big one is securing financing for the new Wallace Water Tower. Our water tower was built in 1955, so it's been around for a while. Still structurally sound, but there are some challenges that we have with our existing water tower. So now is the time to address our water tower and get that financed and get that installed. The fabrication for that water tower will take a year. So once we order the water tower, we're on the clock for about a year before we can go and install that. But much needed, this water tower, I mentioned the existing one was built in 1955. So we're hoping that this water tower will sustain the city well after 50 years. Some of the things we will have to do in anticipation of the water tower is secure funding to upgrade a couple of our water lines on Wallace Avenue, going up the hill and down the hill. Those are main lines that feed our water tower. As we produce our water tower and install it, the hydraulics are going to change, the pressure is going to change. We have to upgrade those main lines, or quite frankly, they're burst. So our main objective is to also secure funding for our new Wallace Avenue water line upgrade before we get the water tower installed. We want to secure funding for Tyler Avenue and Laurel Avenue stormwater projects. Those issues have been going on for a very long time, and we need to address those, and we are addressing them. Those are two critical stormwater issues that we have in town, and we are making that a priority in 2021. Expanding parking areas in Terrell Park and Riverside Park. According to Ohio Tourism was up in 2020 by 300%. A lot more people are using our parks, they're using our bike trails, and they're using our rivers. We talk all the time about how can we utilize the Little Miami River, how can we utilize our bike trail for economic development purposes and getting people to come to Milford and experience our great city. One of the things we're looking at is constructing a canoe and kayak launch on the Little Miami River, having a really nice place where folks can bring their canoe or kayak, take it in, take it out, and enjoy a little bit of downtown Milford in the process. Also want to establish a clear and specific marketing campaign to promote the city of Milford. We want to get our name, we want to get our brand out there. Again, we have realized, 13.2% of traffic increase on our social media. While those folks are there, while those folks are visiting our social media and learning about Milford, we want to be able to market to those people. Having hotels coming in, having a new housing development coming in, we want to retain people to our city, and having a marketing campaign to just show essentially the world what Milford's about is very pivotal and is a goal and objective in 2021. I want to end on this note in my closing remarks. In 2020, the city of Milford faced unprecedented times, including a global pandemic, a damaging windstorm, peaceful protest over racial equality and justice, and a contentious general election. As city manager, I can tell you that the state of our citizens is strong. The state of our businesses is strong. The state of our community is strong. And yes, Mayor and City Council, in 2021, the state of the city is strong. That's all I have.
Excellent presentation. Very well done. Does anybody have any questions, comments from the presentation?
Terrific presentation.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Great things
Yeah.
happening.
From the outside looking in, it wouldn't even appear that we had a pandemic. You know, if you were just to present all that data that he presented to us,
Right.
it was just another great year for Milford. And even with the pandemic, you and the rest of the city did an excellent job leading us through it.
And that's a great point, Ben. We're very blessed, very fortunate. We have a good group on city staff. It truly is a team effort in what we do. I'm just a little piece of that. Everybody has a role when we're talking about development, embracing and bringing individuals in. We kind of wrap ourselves around them. Pam Holbrook leads that charge in organizing our fire department, our police, and our public works, our water and sewer, and how we can address any issues that may come up in a developer and answer any of those questions. Keeping a tight fiscal ship is also, of course, very important. Again, crediting Pat and her staff. They're the purse strings for our city, and they're the ones that help us make this go. And you know, we have a wild idea about spending money. This Worthland kind of keeps me a little bit grounded on that. So we are blessed. We have excellent public safety. Our fire and EMS and our police department are second to none as well. And again, very proud of what everybody accomplished in 2020 with everything that I mentioned. And there were other things I didn't mention in pulling through and having a very successful 2020 and really putting us in a great position in 2021.
I would agree. I would just, on your point, I would just say the same thing, that we really do, the city of Milford, we check all the boxes. I mean, we are finally a destination. We have a diverse portfolio that we offer a wide range of businesses, retail, light industrial, marketing. We have a wonderful staff in place. We've got a very community-oriented police and fire departments that keep relevant and stay in touch with our community members. We have a wonderful school system. We truly check all the boxes, and I think the proof is in the pudding, because I don't know how much council colleagues know, but you get calls all the time from developers, potential developers, and realtors who want to go on fishing expeditions with you, right? They want you to do a Zoom call with them, they want you to meet with you, and they want to sit down with you, and they want you to show them the city and what the available properties are and how they can get in and be a part of the community. Mm-hmm. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, am I?
No, you're not. We actually, Pam, Ms. Holbrook and I had 2 meetings this week with developers. They're like, we have money, we want to spend it. What kind of lots do you have?
Yeah, I had a gentleman reach out to me on Facebook and friend request me and said, I'm a realtor, I've got some investment money. How do I get a meeting with you guys? Here's the number.
We've been very, very successful, and I anticipate that will continue.
Yeah, it feels good.
Feels great.
Exciting.
It
It's
feels
exciting.
good. Yeah. Great job, Mr. Doss. Thank you, Pat Worthland and staff, for all that you do to keep us on track and to keep us in the black and make us look good.
Especially during a pandemic.
You do a great job. Sorry?
Especially during the pandemic. She kept
Yeah.
us financially on track.
Good job.
Very good. Good job. They do deserve a round of applause. Okay, so let's move on down the agenda then. We'll go to proceedings. At the last council meeting, you received the minutes from January the 19th. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mr. Haskins.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Abstain.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Velardo.
Yes. You also received the December 2020 finance report. Any questions, comments? Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Or approve, I should rephrase.
approve.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Ms. Velardo,
Yes.
Mr. Haskins,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Thank you. Standing committee reports, that takes us straight to Safety Services. Vice Mayor Evans?
She
Not
kicked
me.
Oh,
it.
sorry.
She kicked it to me.
Right, it's you, Mr. Mitchell.
All right, let's see if I can not mess this up. So, Ms. Evans made a motion to nominate myself to become chair of the committee. The motion was seconded by Ben Redmond. We all said yes. I didn't want to, but I'm here. So I called the meeting to order at 4:30 on January 27th. Present was Mr. Redmond, Ms. Evans, and myself. Staff was City Manager Michael Doss, Assistant City Manager Pam Holbrook, Police Chief Jamie Mills, Fire Captain Nick Thiel, and Administrative Assistant Jackie Bain. Visitor was Rachel Richardson. I made a motion to approve the proceedings from December 8th, 2020 Safety Services Committee meeting minutes. Ms. Evans seconded the motion. Mr. Redmond abstained. The first thing on the list was a consultant quote for map book update for police and fire and EMS. Ms. Holbrook informed the committee that she received a quote from RA Consultants for GIS services in the amount of $12,600.75. The purpose of this is to create a digital map book for use by the fire department and other city staff, and it will include quarterly updates. The digital map book will replace the paper street guides. And City Council budgeted $20,000 for various GIS projects in 2021. The cost for the GIS services are shared among water, wastewater, stormwater, planning, fire, and police departments. The committee agreed to make a recommendation authorizing the law director to draft an ordinance authorizing RA Consultants LLC to provide GIS services for the city of Milford for $12,600.75.
Second.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Velardo,
Yes.
Mr. Haskins,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Ms. Russell.
Yes.
All right, next up was the Police Department 2021 Tahoe purchase. Chief Mills presented information and included hard copies of a quote on the cruiser replacement plan. The department typically purchases Tahoe each year. There's been one last-minute hiccup. The department found out about 24 hours before the meeting that Chevrolet had ceased production of the Tahoe, but they were able to get one, but not able to get the normal silver and gray model that we normally order. The workaround for this year's plan is to purchase a midnight blue Tahoe and work with Digimax on the wrap. They may be able to use the blue paint for the bottom half and wrap the top, or possibly wrap the entire vehicle. Because of that, the quote for Digimax has been updated from $2,280 to $3,751. And that's still within the capital improvement budget for that plan. Ms. Evans asked if it would help to wait 6 months for the silver cruiser to possibly come in, and Chief Mills said that it would not, and that even the midnight blue model would not be available until June or July. It's a state bid, which is about $12,000 cheaper than going out on our own and trying to find one anywhere else. Mr. Redmond asked what happens to the cruisers once they are no longer used, and Chief Mills said that they decommission the car and make it either an investigator's car, staff car, or sell it on gov deals, and explained why they chose SUVs over a sedan model. Ms. Evans included how she feels we need to have the back part of the parking lot maybe be covered for the vehicles to protect them from the elements. Chief Mills agrees and states that this is the only disadvantage of the previous location where they could store the vehicles in garages. The committee agreed to make a recommendation authorizing the law director to draft an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a vehicle from Tim Ganley Chevrolet LLC for a replacement patrol vehicle in the amount of $38,097.60. The purchase from Cincinnati Safety Upfitters LLC in the amount of $17,008.32. The purchase from WatchGuard for a mobile video camera, oh God, in the amount of $6,144. And the purchase from Digimax for the vinyl wrap design, in the amount, jeez, old Pete, $3,751.
Second.
Wow.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
All right, the last thing was editing and inclusion of certain ordinances for codification. Jackie Bain presented the once-a-year city is required to pass an ordinance adopting the replacement pages of the codified ordinances approved during the prior 12 months. Wow. I need water.
That's a lot to read.
And amendments to the traffic and general offense codes were adopted by the Ohio General Assembly. The committee agreed to make a recommendation authorizing law director to draft an ordinance approving editing inclusion of certain ordinances, parts of various component codes, the codified ordinances of Milford, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Jeez.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
For a minute. Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ready to cough at all times. Thank you. Being no additional business, adjourn the meeting at 4:45. Ms. Evans made the motion. We all said, Redmond seconded, and we all said yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. You did a very good job. How did we not think to use COVID money to create an awning or a shelter back
I
there?
know.
Yeah.
How did we not get creative with that? Right?
We've been needing that for years.
Let's get that on our radar.
That's why I said, but they're bringing up the budget again.
Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, that takes us right to our police department. Chief Mills. Chief Mills, let's get that on your budget. Let's try to figure out a way to protect those cars.
I love that idea. So I don't have my January report complete yet, but I did want to give council an update on a few projects. First, our selection process. As you know, we're filling Sergeant Kreider's vacancy. We interviewed the top scores from the written exam last week. Now we're working on backgrounds on the top 5, and that background investigation is a very extensive part of our process where we really dig into this person because we want to know everything about them that we can before we make that commitment to bringing them on our team. The next step will be interviews with myself, Mr. Doss, and Mr. Manier, and then we will send the final candidates to our fitness course. And then once we make our decision, we will issue a conditional offer that's contingent upon them passing a psychological evaluation and a medical evaluation that includes a drug screen. So more to come on that. I would anticipate hopefully sometime in March having the new officers swear in a council meeting. I'm also interviewing a new volunteer for our police chaplain program that I look forward to giving you more information on soon. The annual report, as you know, that's a very robust report that we produce in the first quarter of every year. We're still in the process of collecting and analyzing a lot of that data. We use that data to make informed decisions about our deliverable services and also resource allocation. And I look forward to giving you a formal presentation in the next couple months on that project as well. And lastly, our award ceremony. That's one of our most popular events of the year. We are reviewing nominations at this time and looking forward to a date that Sergeant Kreider could make. As you know, he's living out his retirement dream of living out of his mobile home. So I'm going to try to find a date that he can be here and we can recognize his years of service as well as the officers that will be receiving awards.
Awesome. 2 questions. How many candidates do you have?
We're down, well, like I said, we're going to do the top 5 for
Top- okay.
backgrounds, but we had 44 take our exam.
Okay.
So
Well,
we were
that's-
very happy with National Testing Network.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, it's worked out really good for us.
And then, are you hiring a new chaplain to work with Mr. Wyckoff or
Yes.
in lieu
Yeah.
of?
Oh, no. With.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We always try to keep a complement of a few. That way,
Okay.
if one of them's not available to come out during those critical incidents, that we have another one. And, you know, the person I'm looking at is very qualified. I think you'll be very happy with him.
I was going to be upset if Mr. Wyckoff was moving
No,
on.
no. It's not at all. I'd be very upset as well.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Fire and EMS, I think we have Captain Miller with us tonight,
Sure do.
the one and only.
The one and only, that's right. So you've probably noticed Goshen's ambulance driving around. I'm sure Chief has already talked about that. Thank you, Goshen, for letting us use that, and it's going to be here a little bit longer. So our ambulance due to COVID has been pushed back to on the refurb schedule. So you'll see that around the city for a little bit while longer, but it's doing us well, and they've been very nice to say, keep it as long as you need it. So huge thanks to them. On good news, we've hired 2 new full-time people. One of our hires started with Milford as a cadet and fell in love with the job, and now we can't get rid of her, so that's good.
And that person is,
Her name is Ashley Patrick.
okay?
The other person is Anthony Smith. So you'll start seeing that. Well, you've already seen them around. They both came from our part-time staff. So it's nice to see them grow with us. And then the last thing is nearly all of Milford Community Fire Department has been vaccinated. We just finished that today. So
Nice.
we are good to go.
Well, you're more than welcome to bring the new employees to a council meeting so we can meet them if you like.
I have talked to Chief about that, and I think we're going to try and do something. So,
That'd be awesome.
yep. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right. Council comments. Is there anybody, does anybody have anything they want to share from council?
I would like to move that we go into executive session at the conclusion of tonight's meeting for the sole purpose of the consideration of the sale of city property pursuant to Section 3.05.2 of the Milford City Charter.
Is there a second?
Second?
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
I believe I skipped inadvertently over public comments. I don't think there's anybody in the audience that wants to talk, and I'm not seeing anything on Facebook. Is anybody seeing anything?
No.
Okay. Okay. So let's take us into ordinances and resolutions. Mr. Manier?
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance. By the way, I was not here when the water tower was constructed, in case you're wondering.
Thanks for clarifying.
Ordinance 2021-71, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Milford, Ohio, whereas various ordinances of a general and permanent nature have been passed, which should be included in the codified ordinances of Milford, Ohio, now therefore be ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1, that the editing, arrangement, and numbering of those ordinances enacted by council from January 1st, 2020 to January 1st, 2021, as listed in the comparative section table, are hereby approved and adopted as printed in the 2021 replacement pages to the codified ordinances so as to achieve uniformity of style and classification. A copy of such replacement pages is attached to this ordinance and incorporated as a part hereof pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, that the sections of the traffic and general offenses codes as are set forth on the attachment hereto, which attachment is fully incorporated herein, pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter, are hereby approved and adopted as amended or enacted so as to conform to enactments of the Ohio General Assembly. The sections are set forth in full in the 2021 replacement pages. Section 3, pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance should become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second?
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-71, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Milford, Ohio.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-72, an ordinance authorizing RA Consultants, LLC, to provide GIS services for the city of Milford. Section 1, be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford. Section 1, the Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the provision of GIS services to the city of Milford by RA Consultants, LLC, for the amount of $12,600.75. Section 2 pursuant to, in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance should become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-72, an ordinance authorizing RA Consultants, LLC, to provide GIS services for the City of Milford.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-73, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a vehicle from Ganley Chevrolet and for purchases from Cincinnati Safety Upfitters, WatchGuard, and Digimax. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Section 1, the Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the purchase of the following for the Milford Police Department: a 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe from Ganley Chevrolet for the purchase price of $38,970.60. Upfit equipment from Cincinnati Safety Upfitters for $17,008.32. A mobile video camera for $6,144, and vinyl wrap design from Digimax for $3,751. Section 2, pursuant to, in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance should become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-73, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a vehicle from Ganley Chevrolet and for purchases from Cincinnati Safety Upfitters, WatchGuard, and Digimax.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Manier. At this time, we will adjourn to executive session. We will be returning following executive session for the sole purpose to close out the meeting. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Velardo?
Yes?
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Shop local.